done this before, this will be a new thing. It's a PragerU video. This will be a little bit longer segment, but it'll be worth it. Trust me. Especially if you remember the dump on the desk analogy. That we don't care about the size of the dump, just that there's a dump on the desk. Right? So, remember that. Keep that in mind. So this is PragerU. For those of you who don't know, PragerU is a guy, Dennis Prager. It's not actually a university. It's a YouTube channel. And what they do is they do conservative videos for teachers. They're trying to get it, conservative propaganda out as much as possible. So this stuff is all really, really backwards. They do fun stuff like, slavery is really black people's fault kind of stuff. Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, when really white people were the hero because they ended slavery. Yeah.
Oh boy, here we go. Okay.
Their Confederate flag is good. Those kinds of guys. So this is on the Wage Gap, and they've got a philosopher, and she's an American Enterprise Institute. I forget her name, but it'll show her in a second. Anyway, she's going to argue there is no gender wage gap.
Oh. If for the same work women only make 77 cents for every dollar a man makes, why don't businesses hire only women? Wages are the biggest expense for most businesses, so hiring only women would reduce costs by nearly a quarter, and that would go right to the bottom line. Don't businesses want to be...
So, already, stupid argument number one. Women make less, so you should just hire all women because you can pay them less. Genius. How come businesses haven't thought of this? How come, Lace? How come?
I don't even know what to say. That is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard.
Well, you know why? Because they wouldn't be able to fill their employees. There aren't enough women. They're only they had a little over half the population. They couldn't fill all those jobs.
All of the jobs that mathematically that doesn't even make any sense.
Plus, she's going to make an argument later that men tend to go into higher paying jobs, right? Well, if that's the case, then there aren't hardly any women to fill those jobs, are there? So so already she's going to contradict her argument. She will. All these things in a vacuum, I guess, make sense to her. But if you think about it, it doesn't. So the title of the video is "There is no gender wage gap," and her first argument is, "Well, there is. So why not just hire all women?"
So her first argument starts with the premise that there is one.
Right. So there is a dump on your desk, right?
Right.
Oh man, so that's it's just odd, but yeah, no, these are gonna be fun. I mean, this is all bad.
Profitable, or are they really just bad at math? Well, actually, it's the feminists, celebrities, and politicians spreading this wage gap myth who have the math problem. Here's why. The 77 cents on the dollar statistic is calculated by dividing the median earnings of all women working full-time by the median earnings of all men working full-time. In other words, if the average income of all men is, say, $40,000 a year, and the average annual income of all women is, say, $30,800, that would mean that women earn 77 cents for every dollar a man earns. 30,800 divided by 40,000 equals 0.77. But these calculations don't reveal a gender wage injustice because they don't take into account occupation, position, education, or hours worked per week. Even a study by the American Association of University Women, a feminist organization, shows that the actual wage gap shrinks to only 6.6 cents when you factor in different choices men and women make.
See, there it is. It's choices. That's what it is.
So women don't make good enough choices,
right,
in order to make as much money as men.
Right, but I also want to get to this. So she's using the AAUW, right? Which is I think their third way to feminism, which we can get into some other time. But so it shrinks from this, to 23 cents to 6.6. Okay. Once again, back to you're arguing about the size of the dump on my desk.
Right,
There's
right.
a, there's,
Instead of a 6-inch dump, it's a 1-inch dump.
right. It's like there's still a turd on my desk. All right. I'm not going to leave it there just because it's 6 inches versus 1 inch, whatever, right? I'm going to sit there and say, let's get the turd off my desk and let's disinfect the desk. I'm not going to sit there and argue about how big it is. So that's, once again, it's the same argument, right? So even at 6.6 cents, if you factor in different choices and whatnot, well, if you look at that study, they're also talking about, yeah, but women are kind of forced into a lot of these situations.
Right. She just said choice of occupation being one of them, and education, etc. But doesn't she realize how obviously cyclical that all is? If women are being sort of pushed into certain types of jobs
Mm-hmm.
and being sort of having issues getting into other types of jobs, then naturally women are going to gravitate more toward the jobs that they feel they clearly can get.
Sure. Well, and the other thing,
as opposed to ones that are, that are more prohibitive for them, that they have a harder time getting into. Not to say some won't, but that's obviously sort of cyclical based on what has been presented that you can do.
Well, and we looked at it. I mean, it's the parts of it we talked was part of it is the sexual reproduction, children, right? Women, and there are studies that show that, yeah, and she'll probably get into this. I can't remember exactly what she gets into here, but the women that are under whatever 40 something that don't have children tend to make about the same, right, as men. Well, see, there you go, ladies. Just never have children and never be older than 40, and you're golden. Come on, get the fuck out of town. It's just, so let's see what choices.